Hey everybody, welcome back to Stamping School. This is part 2 of the Nests of Winter suite that's coming out in the next mini catalog from Stampin' Up, which will be out September 4th. So I broke it up into 2 different videos. So last video, I showed the overview of the whole suite. And so if you missed that, be sure to go watch. And then I showed these 2 projects right here with the paper beads, which are kind of fun to do. And if you missed it, go watch it. And this week we're going to be using this die that comes in the bundle. And I'm going to start with a quick and easy one right here. So this one requires a little bit of fussy cutting for the bird, or you can use one of the birds that already come in the paper and the dies, so that we'll cut those out. But I just loved this designer paper that comes in the suite. This is called the Nest of Winter. It's really pretty. So I just took a panel of that and cut it at 4 by 5 1/4. I got some Misty Moonlight cardstock as my base. And on this one, I did a stitch circle that size. And I'm gonna go one size bigger, one size up, and cut that out. I want just a little bit bigger window, I think. We're gonna see how it turns out. All right, so just tape it down. Now the bird, like I said, I cut the chickadee out. I fussy cut that one out of the paper. But all of these will cut out with the dies that come with it. But there's just a lot of different birds in here you can cut out. And I'm partial to chickadees. So I also cut out 2 leaves in the olive that come in those dies. And then here's a little chickadee. And I just want to show you, you don't have to cut out his little legs. We're going to cut his legs off because he's just going to sit in the leaves. So I don't have to worry about fussy cutting that part out. Just trim him out. There's a cute little branch that comes in that die set. So I'm just going to put that on with a dimensional. And then the leaves can stick out from here. And then the chickadee. I mean, pretty easy, right? And then a little sentiment up at the top. I'll show you the inside also. Look how easy that is. Do I like it with the bigger circle? Maybe not. Maybe I like a smaller circle. I thought maybe he was a little crowded, but I kind of think I like the smaller circle. Here's those little embellishments. I'm going to put one of those pecan pie ones up here. Now for the sentiment, that stamp set has thinking of you always. So maybe I'm not thinking of them always. Maybe I don't know them that well. I don't know. So we're just going to omit that part out. And I'm using my brush tip, my regular markers, not the alcohol markers, because they will stay forever on there, but just the regular water-based markers. And by the way, the black marker you can buy, I think it's $3.50. If you want to try the new style of markers, they changed the tips. Can you see that? It's a really nice writing tip, a bullet tip, compared to the ones that never worked very well, the little tiny ones that were, sometimes they work, sometimes they didn't. You have to store them this way so that the ink stays down there on the fine tip. These are fantastic. And then there's a brush tip. So when you're going to omit part of a sentiment, what I see sometimes people doing is going back and forth like this, and that causes a lot of gloppiness. And it also is really hard on your brush tip. So what you want to do is kind of hold it on the side and do little circles. And what you're doing is really coating it with the tip, not the very tip, but a little bit further up. And if you go in little circles, you're not going to get the gloppiness that gets caught in the grooves this way. I see people doing that all the time on videos. I'm like, stop! Don't hurt your markers. It's abuse. So, and then sometimes you can just dot it like that. So just tap it on to make sure that you get it all. So I'm not even really using the tip. You can see how nice the tip is. I have had this for at least a year, and it's just like new because I don't do that with it. Right. And then because you want to make sure that there's a good amount of moisture on it, give a little Darth Vader huff there, just kind of a little hot, moist air. And then you'll get a really nice stamped image. So you get just that you want. And so if you're not thinking of them always, but you're thinking of them, that's what we're going to do. I cut that out with the banner, and I'm going to take off that end right there. I'm going to add on just a little bit of the pecan just for a little accent. Can you see it just makes a little bit of a difference? It's like, hey, look at me, thinking of you, and then it comes across. So sort of like the way that the eye would lead. I'm just gonna add a little bit of glue there and then just trim off the excess, following the lines that you already made. It just gives a little extra something something down at the end. And then dimensionals on the whole thing. And then I'll show you the inside. Okay, do we like the big circle or the little circle? Oh my gosh, I think I might like the little circle. I don't know. Okay, on the inside, I just did another panel of a different sheet in that designer pack. And then A Friend Like You Brings Me Happiness right here down at the bottom. That's pretty. And then if I wanted to just leave it, I could write a note on the back. I could put a piece of white up here and write a long note. So that's what I did for that one. Okay, let's use this die next. That was our warm-up card. This is the first card that I did using the frame. So white card base, Coastal Cabana, and then the frame itself. So the frame itself is 3.5 by 5. So that changes your card a little bit because, for instance, if this is 3.5 by 5 and then this is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, so that means the card is 4 inches by 5 1/2. So you're going to need to just, your card's going to be just a little bit skinnier if you want the layers to look even, which I do. So this is what that looks like, right? You've got your regular card base, and then 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, and then 3.5 by 5 is the frame. And I found the best thing to do is cut it exactly that size, because this won't cut out, just all of this. So because these are open-ended, you can make it bigger if you want to. So you could go bigger, but you'd have to make sure it's exactly centered. So I found the best thing to do is cut it right to size and then tape it down so it doesn't move, and then I run it through upside down. That works the best. So that way you get this piece right here, and it cuts out so nicely. Now, don't throw this away, because there's two things that I found that you could do with it. So see how that cuts that nice frame? And because it's exactly that size, all of this looks nice and even and just like it's supposed to be. But if you take this piece right here, you can use this as a mask if you want to. So for instance, on this card right here, if I wanted to, I could put it down and sponge a little and have some green imaging kind of coming through. But also, because you can cut two different colors out, like this one, then you can layer them together. So like if you cut a green one and then cut a white one, you can flip-flop them. And I love that. So they match right back together again, and kind of like a little puzzle. So that's what I did on this one. If you are a fan of red and green, what I did on this one is I did a cherry cobbler card base, and then I did the white layer, and then the green with the white embedded inside, which gives us the opportunity to stamp on it. So I stamped, and I did stamp the Mary up here, and that comes from Greetings of the Season. So you got all those different combinations, but I screwed up on the Mary and it was off a little. So I did it again and embossed it in gold, and I think I like it better anyway. And then I popped it up over top of my mistake. So I just think it's really pretty. Now the paper has this red bird, which is not a cardinal. I kind of like a cardinal for Christmas. So they do have another cardinal in there if you want to. But what I think I would do, if I had an ornament, instead of the bird here, I would hang a string down here with an ornament right here. And I think that would be beautiful. Or a bell or an ornament or something just kind of hanging here would be really great. Or anything you want to put here in the corner would work with this. Now, right now in the online store, they have these online extras. They're not in a catalog. They've got these really fun embellishments. The cherry cobbler and pearl adhesive back berries. And so they come 3 stick together like that. Can you see that? Yeah, 3 stick together, and then there's red, and then they're clear, but they have like an opalescent shine to them. So I added some berries on the little bird's twig. This is from the designer paper. And that cut out with the die, which is nice because now I want to cut all that out. And these little berries. So that's just another option to layer those two together. This one is a little simpler. I'm going to make this one for you. And we'll do that one so you can see how it all goes together. So we have the white card base. And then remember, this is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then the white frame goes on top like that. And then I want to show you how I got those extra leaves in there. Now glue down these edges carefully, but don't glue down these pieces yet because we're going to tuck some things in there. So you want to just do very light, very little glue all the way around. Just a little bit of glue. Because you want the edges to be tacked down, but not the leaves yet, if that makes sense. I just sort of dot my multi-glue very lightly around, or you can use a sponge dauber and glue. Now you can also stamp your greeting before you glue this down, but I sort of found that, like this one, I stamped this little greeting in the basic gray right there in the middle. If I mess it up, then I just do the same paper like I did on this one. See, I just did the same color paper in a decorative little punch or tag and just stick it down on there. So now for the birds. Now I used the die to cut these out, and I didn't need all the berries and things. And I could just put them right down here in the bottom like that, or I can cut them out and tuck them in like I did here. So you can choose, and you can also go this way. I mean, nothing says that it has to be right there. Look, you can do this way, which would be kind of pretty. Kind of let them go off the edge. And then do a little greeting, and then your ribbon up top. This is pretty. But you're going to tuck these little silver pieces in. So I ran this again in silver, and you can get 2 or 3 cards from this. And then you just go around and trim these off and then tuck them in. And it looks great. Now I use glue dots. That's just like the easiest way to stick these down. But put a little glue dot on there and then come in and decide where you want to put them. I want them to go in kind of different directions. So you just slide it down in there. See? It's so pretty. Like on this one, I did the same thing but with gold, just to add a little extra something, something. On this one, I did the white glimmer paper and tuck those down in there. So, and you were not gonna waste the silver in the middle because you can cut other things from it. But just trim all these off and stick them down. Probably at least 3, do odd numbers, 3 or 5. You can also put your ribbon on first so you can kind of see where things go. This iridescent ribbon, by the way, is so pretty. You're going to want it for the holidays. It has a green shimmer to it. It's very, very easy to tie. It's very pretty. I'm going to put it back here. Put one here across. Right here. And then bring it around. And then just tie a knot on, just to save on the ribbon. Or you can tie a pretty bow. And then tie on this piece here. So I'm going to put these in first so that we kind of know how much room we've got to work with for the little silver leaves and the birds. It's just so pretty. It's light. It's not going to be bulky to mail. And it's got, and it's in some light, it can have a little bit of a pinkish hue. Or I feel like it's mostly got a little bit of a green hue. Now because I like this all being just blues and whites, I'm going to trim off the branches. And we're going to cut their little feet off. Cut these berries off. I can use this on a different card. There's a little bit of a branch on his tail, but you really aren't going to notice it too much because we're going to nestle him right in. And because this one doesn't have a tail, this one here, we're going to put him up higher, or we can put him down here even. And it's just whatever you want to do for your sentiments down in the bottom. So you can really kind of play around with where they sit and where they go. Look, they're kind of looking at each other. So in this case, you can have him sit here and here and then do a skinny greeting right here. It's really fun. And I love birds, so. On this one, I just did some glimmer paper in the bottom and nestled a little bird here. He came from the side of the paper that was cut off. So you can use some of these birds that have little parts and pieces cut off to kind of nestle in different places. And a couple silver and then one of those little clear beads at the bottom. And this one I did a full bow on there because I had the room for that. Really fun. I think this would be fun. Doesn't have to be for Christmas, but that's just what I used it for. A really fun suite. I would recommend the whole thing. I think it's great. I love the paper. I love the designer paper. And I love the dies. I like the stamp set. All in all, I say it's a winner. September 4th, it'll be coming out. Remember, you can print the recipe with everything that I used in the PDFs below the video. There's a description and a link so that you can print those out. Make sure you like and subscribe, do all the YouTube-y things, and we'll see you next time. See it, learn it, stamp it.